In 1984, Ideal Toys created Max Steel and the RoboForce. It followed the adventures of a team of technologically advanced heroic robots that stood against the Cult of Dread. Led by the evil robot Hundred, the cult's primary goal is to resurrect the ancient warlord Nazgar, and under his leadership, conquer the world of Zeton. RoboForce only had one series of toys, but still managed to produce 10 action robot figures, 3 vehicles, and a playset. And today we'll be taking a look at one of the evil robots of the Cult of Dread, Enemy the Dictator, here on Creed's Collection. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Creed's Collection. Today we're taking a look at Enemy the Dictator, one of the evil robots of the Cult of Dread from the toy line RoboForce. A lot of people call this Max Steel RoboForce after the main character, but the boxes say RoboForce, so I'm going to stick with that. Anyway, right off the bat, I want to talk about his name, Enemy the Dictator. We know he's an enemy because he's on the bad guy side, the Cult of Dread. And he's not a dictator because he's at least second in command. As I said in the intro, the leader of the Cult of Dread is the robot Hundred, and the other two villain robots are Cruel and Vulgar. And his name is Enemy. It's so generic in comparison. Oh well, let's go ahead and take a closer look at Enemy the Dictator. So things that immediately jump out at me are his giant purple eyes and his mouth that looks like a shaver. Also, you'll notice his name, Enemy, is stamped right on the front of him. They did this with all the RoboForce figures. But I will admit that he is a pretty imposing looking figure. He's huge, hulking, squared off, pretty sweet, and the lack of legs really make him kind of scary. And we're going to go ahead and get into that right now. On the bottom of every RoboForce figure, instead of legs, they have a giant suction cup. This is one of a few gimmicks that these toys employed. The idea was that the robots could battle it out on any surface as long as it was smooth enough for the suction cup to adhere to. So I'll bet you're wondering if it still works. Yes it does. At least on the window it worked great. I didn't test it out on any other surface because I didn't want it to fall off, but it hung on the window like a champ. Another universal feature of all the RoboForce figures is the crusher arms you activate with that button. So all you gotta do is push it in with their arms up and they act like they're crushing. At least that's what it was supposed to be, but if you ask me, it looks more like he just wants you to pick him up and hold him. That or he'd make one hell of a chiropractor.
Hey Doc, I'm here for my back adjustment.
Yes, hello. Please put your hands above your head.
Okay. You mean like this?
That is
Hey, what are you
perfect.
doing?
Please hold
what
still.
are you doing? Oh my God, Doc, I feel great. Haven't felt this good since Slythe tried to cut my head off.
Thank you. Please pay the receptionist. So another gimmick that most of the RoboForce figures have are hidden compartments with weapons. As you can see, he has a dual laser blaster hidden in his chest here, and here's a closer look at the inside of the compartment. And then supposedly on the back here, he's got what they call a retro backfiring cannon. Yeah, that thing. It's supposed to be a gun. I wish they'd tried a little harder on that, because the idea of a rear-facing gun is pretty cool, but it doesn't really look like a gun to me. Now we're going to take a look at Enemy's articulation, or lack of articulation. So here at the base, he has a swivel, and it's a full 360-degree swivel, which is pretty nice. And then his arms, they both also swivel at the shoulder joint all the way around, full 360-degree movement. And that's it. He doesn't have a lot. In his defense, though, he does have more than some Transformers do. And now a quick look at the copyright info. 1984, CBS Toys. I looked into it, and CBS Toys owns Ideal, so I'm not sure why they put Ideal on the box and CBS on the toy. You'd think it would just be one or the other. And now for our He-Man size comparison. He-Man's got about half an inch on Enemy, and that means the RoboForce is actually scaled very nicely to match in with Masters of the Universe. And now that I think about it, these two toy lines would make a pretty fun crossover. Everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy review for Enemy the Dictator from the 1984 toy line RoboForce by Ideal. I received this guy as a Christmas present in 3rd grade from my classroom Secret Santa. And although I didn't hate him, you couldn't throw a rock in the 1980s without hitting a robot-inspired toy line, and RoboForce was just another entry in an already crowded sea of robot toys. After all, Max Steel and his brethren were just robots, and to catch the attention of 1980s me, you needed to transform into something. Just being a robot wasn't enough. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and it would help my channel grow. I review a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday, so I hope to see you next week and every week after, here on KREED'S Collection.